Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, Van Zeeks allowed us to defend him, and now today we'll start the trial. 2nd of November, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendants Antechamber. Yeah, let's go. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air.
There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose.
Yes, I think so. Can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
However, you're suddenly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. What?
Trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
A close court. So no summation examination? Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes! Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruto? An outright victory for science, you must agree. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Huh. What to one man is a little hair problem is to another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And are you? I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there's at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor, and that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes, after all, behind this lawyer there's a great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose?
Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. Decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Wow! I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see.
Odo,
Oh, yes, Gina?
why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on?
Huh?
This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss.
Sorry, Gina, but we should probably get the truth. But I just don't believe that.
Well, if it weren't him, who was it?
That's what we'll find out. I don't know that yet.
I don't care what calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. If it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least, that may be some solace to the deceased.
Oh. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I ain't feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. You gotta find who done this and make that wretch pay.
Wow, I don't think my controller ever vibrated playing this game until then. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruto. Lord Van Zeeks, let's go!
One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law, killing his brother. And one who lost the man to help her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on the course to collide headlong into this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Second of November, 9:20 a.m., the Old Bailey Courtroom. Oh shit, I forgot it was Kazuma. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant Barak Van Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels awesome, but I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench, and he has two swords. The so-called Reaper of the Pale has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind the scourge. In other words, this trial's going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. Why is there so many people in the background and we don't get a jury? The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, but Her Majesty's direct orders. How will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you shall see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
No members of the public are present. May I ask who's currently occupied the gallery? But look,
damn, they got me. There are members of the judiciary here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary?
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. Everyone's foreign? The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. Ah, got it. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma! Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Aosogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimiest cases 10 years ago.
Professor Case.
How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
Burn marks? Yep, there were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at a point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel.
Cool, autopsy. Let's read it. Autopsy report. Coroner Maria Gorey. Victim. Name Tobias Gregson, male. Age 45. Nationality British. Time of death. Huh? Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. Additional observations. The caliber of the gun used matches that of a standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. No time of death. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively.
Bravo, Kazuma-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candle brom mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. Crime scene floor plan. Let's take a look at it. There's a board, window, okay.
Is this Fresno Street Room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there?
Presumably he was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witness and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
Name, please, Counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself.
Oh, Lord Van Zeeks.
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of the office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
Cool. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Barak Van Zeeks, Old Bailey Prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Arsegi's opening pieces?
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure that the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the courtroom on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place.
I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
Yeah.
I must say, Lord Van Zeeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness.
Witness testimony. The facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of the Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet, it turns out you have a way with words. Prosecutor Asoki.
It would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't a word, it's laughable. What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. Oh.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Let's go. Cross-examination. Facts of the incident. Hold it! You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand then that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene?
No.
I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry.
You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences.
So in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath.
Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
Hold it! Have you ever been to that address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m., the sun would only have just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut.
There were holes everywhere.
Very little found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor.
There's no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure?
I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruto. There's a small desk in the room, just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as a framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Do I present the candle there?
Heard a gunshot and I spun around.
Hold it! So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was dark in there?
Yes, that's right.
All I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then could it be? The gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room. No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Ugh. This is going from bad to worse. And you say that that's the point of which you noticed a revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. Like an idiot. That was careless on my part.
Presumably then, the gunshot you heard of came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took into your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold. There was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I was looking to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that. Wait, we couldn't have used the bullet to check the rifling? What the hell? Oh wait, this is olden days, I guess.
Just as I...
Oh wait, wrong voice.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right, one of the street merchants working on the Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them have set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem.
They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper. You have no heart.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled.
Policemen patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion. Was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred.
Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of a man who came inside first, nothing more.
I see.
Was there a false wall? After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's no time of death. What time was it?
I have no idea.
Objection!
Oh.
Surely the court has heard enough.
Huh?
My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barak Van Zeeks, is lying on multiple fronts.
What? What is that supposed to mean? And that music?
Good gracious, Castle. The defendant's lying, you say?
In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark.
That's correct.
No, that's impossible. It's proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from this firearm passed the victim and struck the candle.
No way. The problem comes when you consider that the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I could see that. Only that candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together. You can't assume that. Which begs the question, why only one has ended up longer than the others? That That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! Nah. That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. The other 2 candles would still have been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. The accused client that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered up from top to bottom with police documents and news cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged, however. They include a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. There's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is the common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all these cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord.
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Ah!
Why would he do that for his own case?
Oh no!
In short, the dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout, and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout?
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Yeah. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. And I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand.
What? What?
Nah, you're reaching.
Order, order, order. Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak von Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to this country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Soki's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazum has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecutor's case, and it's formidable.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. Notice board. Okay, can I look at... Oh, that's a lot of stuff.
There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
The paper from 10 years ago is browning with aged look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement Mr. Sholmes had picked out.
And do you remember, there was a red hairpiece at the scene too?
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then? He was red-headed.
Aha! What's this? Oh, what's this? Mr. Nahoda, look!
Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks like a handprint.
And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing.
Wait a minute. Does this rotate? No. So they had to be either really tall to put their hand over, or maybe it was down? Interesting. And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshots and went running into the room. Why did I say it like that?
Very well, lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Whoosh.
Hey, Little Red Riding Hood! Usopp and... Oh shit, it's Beppo! Or Beppo. It is Beppo, he got fired! So, witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court.
Oh, names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just and easy. Sell what we like. Live where we want to live.
I've given them all vacant stare. They walk down the Vesto and spit a few words into a verse for him. Poor Beppo. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling your wares on the street?
Hey, everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits at the best buys, you know.
Jaunty little tidbits.
Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your gimnal, it is. 6 pence is the price and not a penny less.
Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now?
Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Try the man.
Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man goes.
Why me? Alright, 6 pence it is.
You won't regret it, sir. Now get your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slight Street have just had twins.
Eh? Is that it?
No refunds. That's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but the bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. You've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious.
I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, the unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out of your collar. Oh shit, yeah. What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Money in it.
Firecrackers?
I sell these lovely little fireworks to all local school kids.
Oh shit.
6 pence a pop, what do you say?
Is it gonna pop? Is it gonna pop? No? Oh, now it... Okay. You weren't exaggerating with Lil. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want to part with 6 pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what you want. I'll let you in a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom.
Try the woman.
Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman comes. Alright, I'll buy one. Why to me? I'm the poorest one.
Lovely stuff right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special. Only 600 pence.
Oh shit.
600? Pay the woman. It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey, either. Venus firecracker. Oh wait. Can I examine them? Oh. What the? Can I examine it? Oh, this? The wick?
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruto? You're staring at the end of a string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom.
Oh, shit!
Alright. That was fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Barodo. Sounded almost exactly like...
Like a gunshot? So he was already dead. Someone lit a firework. And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Think I may think all sorts of thoughts. I think therefore I am. I think. Because I stand here on the street watching the world go on about me, they call me an observator.
Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich, and you know it. I don't remember his voice. So, you don't actually sell anything.
A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice. I do, and I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, though. Come to think of it.
Pity. No more purchase today, please.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always on the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see, and thus they have heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime.
Well, I'll be begged, I thought, just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
What I think is, if all what I see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real? Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
I don't want to look at their profiles. Mysterious signpost. That's Beppo. Peddler. Gossip. I still don't know his voice. Daily Vigil. His face doesn't look familiar.
You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
Witness testimony. The witness's account.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside, and we all heard a big bang.
Seems to me that the quick and talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what happened.
I ran into the courtroom there. It was the Reaper, gun in hand, staring over the dead body.
I was half scared to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
These witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything. Who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barack Van Zieks.
I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I've made myself a tidy sum already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
The testimony of the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No! Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony, somehow. Yeah, no summation, examination, this chapter. Cross-examination. The witness's account. I still don't know how to voice him.
Hold it!
When you say they, what do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zieks? I suppose so. They're like supposed to know the names of all the high and mighty. But I'm telling you, it was the old Reaper that went in as pushers, and I'm gonna stick my lip out and talk as him. Just behind Inspector Gregson, did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The last fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before he heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a fellow with a bright red hair like that, does it? Red hair?
Yes, his red hair were red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even.
Our fire red mops still burned on the inside of my eyelids. It is.
Wait a minute. You're saying the man that was a redhead?
Weren't you listening, chum? He was a redhead, and he had a big trunk with him as well.
Trunk?
Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Seems likely the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all. Some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Oh shit. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, alright. No, he doesn't have red hair.
And a red hairpiece. Ah! Of course, we saw one on the floor when he investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. Yeah. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, counsel.
Photograph of the victim. Finally, we get to see it. Let's see what's inside. Where was he shot? Does it say? The chest or something? In the chest, okay. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared.
What? You expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you?
We definitely saw him in the dark going on, though. No questions about that. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside and we all heard a big bang.
Hold it!
By which, presumably, you mean the gunshot? Damn, no.
I saw these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it?
And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building?
That's right. It's almost straight away. Bang, it went. Just like that.
Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does it?
I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There could be no clearer motive for the crime.
Yes. Certainly an eminently criminal motive.
What? Still don't understand that. Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct?
Seems to be a quick little talk, gossip and all.
Hold it!
So, when the gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Well, me, I am a bit hampered to see all the signs that I can't move very well.
You were away behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and the big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but Is it possible you and I have met before?
Oh. I'm not anybody's signs or what made me who I am now. I'm therefore I am.
So you weren't employed as a omnibus driver just under a year ago then, Beppo?
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down, King Head Street, and the Black Widower's arms is just there. Oh dear, you made him hide behind a sign.
Life is full of surprises. So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. I kicked it open like a professional at it, and you're like, what's going off here?
Lord Van Zeeks claims all he heard was a man scream, though.
And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
What? Really? Oh, jeez.
There was the fellow collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Zeeks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
The accused, Barak Van Zeeks.
Yeah, it's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. Stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Excuse me.
Sure you did. Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head, I am just two slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me.
I think maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
What I think is we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just teeth sellers.
That's enough of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want to make you into a real sandwich.
Well, when he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that a secret.
He screamed, he did. Screamed and he scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand on the filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck.
Oh. Wow, a pool of blood.
Well, listen here. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold, hard stare. And don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand when I touched the board?
I did, eh? Happened to be the best of us at times, don't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must.
He did it.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
Thank you, Beppo. So I quickly wiped it off on the wall. Do I just press? Do I just present this?
Objection.
Okay, got it.
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of this room. Man, I didn't mess up the first time this. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else would you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection.
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. Incompetent! What exactly is the defense asserting?
Objection.
If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Sogi. Oh. Huh. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in the blood left clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
Hey, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible that the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan in the room. Oh, the notice board was the opposite corner of the room to the victim in an upright position, even if it somehow toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. So it was in front of Gregson and it fell on the floor?
I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory.
Wrong.
Yes, it is. Well, there's a very definitive contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it you've formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and handprint found at the scene?
I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingers would be pointing upwards.
What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When the handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can be very clear on one point.
And what would that be?
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
So if it's like that, and the handprint is facing downwards, it would be here, facing the other way?
Take that!
This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
If the court could think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body.
Why, heck?
If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
That's true. Or, in his precise words.
Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me who kicked the door open.
If you look again at the floor plan, considering what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over, and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He simply described what he saw. Alright, I think this is a good place to stop. Next time, we'll continue the trial. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.